Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today I just wanted to talk about something that I've had an idea to talk about for quite a while, and that is the different ways that I've found to sell tier 10s. I've got a few different methods that I think are really effective, and I'm going to talk about three of them today. Obviously, with tier 10s, things are very different than they were before. They take twice as much energy as anything else to sell. It can feel really clunky, especially when you don't have close to max energy. So I've come up with a few ways that I think are really good, whether you have max energy or not, and you can kind of figure out for yourself what you think is best. So first of all, I just want to say I'm working off the assumption that gold milestones are done and energy discounts are there. Obviously, I know that not everyone's going to have that. Very small percentage of players will most likely have that. But when you have the 15 stars and everything, or 11 stars for the last few, obviously you have 10% discount, which makes the numbers a lot easier to deal with. 1600 instead of 1800. So that's really nice. And also with the gold increase, there's 1.25 times extra when you've mastered, let's say, a tier 10 item and you get to the gold milestone. Obviously you're getting more gold for that item. So that's what I'm working off of. Obviously I know that that won't be the same for everyone, but it's the only numbers that I have to work with, and it's best case scenario. So let's talk through that. First of all, when it comes to energy, I talk about it as extremely important all the time. But when we look at energy for tier 9s and tier 10s, it's pretty much the same. Let's say a tier 10 item, and let's say, just as an example, I'm just going to do this. You have, it costs 1600 energy and you're getting almost 800k for it. So 1600 energy is worth about 800k average. So if we surcharge that and we're getting the extra gold for it, it's a little bit less, but let's say we get about 500 gold per energy, which I think is pretty normal for tier 9 and tier 10. They're about the same, 500 gold per energy. So every time that you gain energy, technically you're storing gold that you can then use later. As well, and anytime that you discount an item, I know you're getting less gold out of it, but you're still able to use that energy later on to surcharge a different item. So we're going to be using discounts. We're going to be using small talks and surcharges basically to manipulate our energy in a way that we can benefit the most out of. Now, there's a few different things that we got to consider. One is, of course, current market prices. So if the market, the way that it's been the last couple, well, the last month or so, is that all the tier 10s are at base value, like at 765k, I could probably buy this for from market, maybe a little bit more than that, but you can pretty much buy these from market. So it's not so much about 100% efficiency as it is speed, because even if I'm discounting this item, I'm only losing 350k, a little bit less than that, by discounting it, rather than if I could only buy that item for 1.4 million, then obviously I'm losing a lot more. So because items are so cheap, you're able to use them more sparingly to give yourself an advantage. So let's get into our first method. I've got a bunch of tier 1s out, and I generally do have it that way because I think, let's say you small talk this, it's a backfire, that's fine. Small talk this, success, but I don't have the energy. I go to tier 1, discount that, move on to the next one, small talk it, it's successful, I have the energy, and you can just do that the whole time. If you don't have the energy, you just go to a tier 1 and sell it, and there's no waste. The tier 1s basically cost me nothing, and eventually I'll get through my inventory surcharging every single item and wasting nothing, right? So that is a way to get the most value possible out of every single item, and you could probably do that with 4000 energy, because eventually you're going to get to the energy amount that you need. So that's the first method. It's just small talking. If you don't have the energy, suggest a tier 1, discount it, sell it, move on to the next one. It's pretty easy, simple, clean. You're going to get surcharge out of every single one. But I don't think that that is the most efficient way to do it. And there's a couple other options that I think are a lot better. Reason why I say that, let's say we have 1265 energy, and for this I need 1600. If this small talk is successful, obviously I'm going to have the energy to surcharge, so that's great. But if I don't and this fails, then I go down to 6 or 700. I lose 70% of, or 7% of my total energy when I fail. So there's an RNG element to it. 30% of the time this is going to fail and I'm going to lose that energy, and then I'm going to have to go use a different item. So ideally you don't have RNG included. So here's what I think is the next best option. This is backfired. So I've stored this for a reason. So I can discount this for 800 energy and get up to the 1600. I know these numbers aren't clean, but get up more than enough to surcharge the next item. So let's say I go to the next item, I surcharge it. Now I got the gold out of it and I can small talk that item, and whether it's success or failure, I can sell it, right? So now I'm back up above the energy amount. But then I go back here and I don't actually want to sell this item. I don't want to, because then I'm losing the gold from it, right? It's not 100% efficient. So then I can refuse it. And I still got to use the small talk. It wasn't successful, but I still got to use that small talk in a successful way. I'm hoping that I get a failure here. We're going to try to get a failure just so that the numbers work out better. Don't really care that I'm losing. Okay, so we're down to 0. So here's another example. This one's backfired. I tried to small talk it earlier and it was a backfire. So let's say I go over here and I small talk this item. It's successful, awesome, but obviously I don't have the 1600. I can go over here, discount this item, get up to the 1600 something that I need, go to this item, surcharge it, sell it, and then in the next round I could small talk this, discount a tier 1, and then instead of selling this for 390, eventually I could hopefully surcharge it for close to 1.6 million. So then I refuse it, the energy goes back down. But keep in mind, if you do this every single time you get 2 successful small talks with max energy, that is, you can surcharge an item. There's no RNG because you are always small talking at 0 energy. So let's get another example. If we want a failure here, let's wait for some more customers. Okay, so we've got some more customers to work with here, and I have a couple of backfires. So let's say I tried to small talk this item and I got a backfire from it. I wouldn't deny that right away. What I would do is go here. Let's say I try to small talk this one. It's a success. Then I can go over here, discount this item so I get energy out of it. Go over here, surcharge this one, sell it. But I need to get up 800 energy to deny this, but I'm small talking with no energy. So there's no risk involved. No matter what, I can get my 800 energy with no risk and then go back to this item and refuse it. So I'm never losing a tier 10, but I'm always able to use the 800 energy from a tier 10 to then surcharge one later on. So here's another example. I shouldn't be, just for example's sake, I shouldn't be refusing it. But let's say I discount this because it's a backfire. I go over here, I surcharge the item, and then I can go to this item, small talk, discount that guy, and get rid of this one. So I have not sold any tier 10s yet that I haven't surcharged, and I have not wasted any energy because every single customer I'm small talking and every single successful small talk is being used for a purpose. And so essentially with max energy, I'm getting 800 energy per successful small talk, which means that I'm getting 400K. So every single customer that comes in and the small talk is successful, I'm making about 400K from it. And if I'm able to do that to about 200 customers an hour, which I think is average, that's 80 million profit per hour in my pocket by doing it this way, if I'm able to buy these items from market for base value. Couple of thoughts. One is that obviously not everyone has 8100 energy. So here's what I'm thinking. If you only have 4000 energy, but getting up to 800 is totally doable in 2 small talks. That's not a problem. All right, so let's say you have 4000 energy total and you're trying to get to 1600. What you could do is use 2 small talks and just sell tier 1 items and get up to your 800, right? So that'll be 2 small talks at 4000 energy. Then let's say this is a failed small talk and you have tier 10s and you're trying to sell them. Even at 4000 energy, you can still discount that item, surcharge the next one, small talk it, and then deny that one. You don't waste anything, and you can still sell tier 10s incredibly efficiently and quickly and be making just as much profit, maybe not quite as quickly because there's going to be more customers needed to get up to the 800. But you can still get from 800 to 1600 the exact same way that I do, not be wasting energy, not be wasting small talks, not be wasting customers, and sell through your tier 10s quickly. So that's the second method. Third method is what I've been doing and what I think is the best right now. People have been kind of complaining about how long it takes to sell through tier 10s, and I totally agree. If I'm feathering all day and crafting and stuff, I can get to the end of the day and have like 1,000 items, even if I started at zero. Like if I use 10 feathers or more during the day and I'm just going constantly and getting a ton of items. And so my goal is to sell through those items cost effectively, not stupidly, not wasteful, but also quickly. I want to get through as many items as I can, get as much as I can out of it. And truthfully, you're not going to get much from market because it's so cheap. So you being able to sell through the items yourself is ideal. So here's what I do. Let's say I small talk this item, it's successful. I actually discount the tier 10 and sell it. So that item, yes, I just lost 350K from that item, or let's say 400K just for round numbers. I just lost 400K from that item, but I gained 1600 energy from that item. So 1600 energy, as we know, is worth 800K or 750K. So because I'm able to use the 1600 I got from that on this item, I lost 350K on that, but I gained 750K on this one. So technically, by me selling, well, small talking and then selling that tier 10, because I was able to buy it at base value, I still make 400K from the small talk. And then if I get to small talk the next one and it's also successful, that means that from that transaction as well, I made 400K. So I still did 2 successful small talks. I don't want to sell that. I still did 2 successful small talks. I still made 800K profit. I got rid of twice as many items and I didn't waste anything because I can replace those items for cost or a little bit below from market right now and it's totally fine. This method is going to be terrible if prices get up above like 1 million per tier 10 because then it won't be profitable anymore. It doesn't make any sense because you're losing so much gold when you need to be surcharging. So the first 2 methods are going to be much better later on, but I think right now with how the market looks, it makes a lot of sense for you to just be discount, surcharge the tier 10, go back, small talk this one, sell it, move on, discount this one, surcharge that one, small talk that one, and just keep doing that. And even if you get to the point that you're ahead in energy and you still have small talks to go, I can small talk this. That's successful. Yes, there is RNG involved. I understand that. But if the RNG goes in my favor, that's just another 400K that's free for me that I already made 400K profit from that item anyway, right? So then I'm just going incredibly quickly, and you can still use tier 1s in here if you want. I just crafted tier 1s for this example for this video, but generally I don't even have tier 1s. I have only tier 10s, and I also have a ton of tier 9s because they're super cheap right now from Tower of Titans. But generally I have only tier 10s. I only buy tier 10s. I only sell tier 10s, and I get tier 10s and tier 9s from quests, and I just discount tier 10s, surcharge tier 10s, small talk, and doing it this way. I know it seems wasteful. I know it seems like I'm just throwing tier 10s out the window, but because I can replace them so cheap and I'm not even losing 400K per item that I'm throwing away, and if it's a successful small talk, I'm gaining 800K from that item anyway, then it really doesn't matter at all. I'm making money either way. I'm able to sell through my inventory twice as fast. I will not be doing this if market prices change, but for now, I legitimately think that this is a really good method to get through your inventory quickly, to make a ton of money. So there we go. This, I'm making 700K right there. I still get the small talk if that's successful. It's just another free 400K. I understand that people with lower energy, it's not going to be as effective, and you're going to have some workarounds and stuff. So people with 4,000 energy discounting tier 10s, you need to wait until you have 800 or else it's wasteful. But if you can do this method still and use tier 1s and just do it a little bit more cost effectively and take a bit more time with it, I still think that as long as you can get up to 800 energy cost effectively, that you can use this method to get through your tier 10s fast and still make a really good amount of money. So that'll be it for this one. I hope you learned something. I hope it makes sense. I hope I don't sound crazy, and hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you on Friday for streaming. I won't be streaming on Tuesday this week, but I will see you on Friday. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Peace out.